when people do a rewrite, you ask them to write their stuff down, their goal,
We
is that
write it
correct?
in, did you ever use a business program called Slack?
No, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's like a messaging program. You could organize conversations and things like that. So yeah, it gets written down on Slack. Everybody who does a rewrite gets their own rewrite channel. Ken's rewrite, Ralph's rewrite.
I was trying to remember what I was supposed to remember yesterday, and I'm like, damn, you know what? I should have wrote it down, because if you don't, you forget.
How the kids doing?
Yeah, they're trapped over here. You want to take them out? I think we're gonna go take a ride down the shore tomorrow, just to kind of get them out.
That's good.
And I'll tell you, the degrees of logic, they kind of work. I didn't get to bring the boat down that day the way I wanted to, but I really thought about what it is that Yuan is trying to tell me, and I wind up listening, figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? Making the deal right, and I still wanted to go bring the boat down, just not the way I wanted originally.
That's how shit happens, man, right? Yep.
I'll tell you,
Yep.
the degrees of logic.
Yep. Get to actually listen to what people are telling you, or trying to tell you.
I'm just coming across that section of the book now. So I continue reading into the chapters, and it's like I feel like you're going along with the book possibly.
Yeah, kind of, but
I feel like charisma is like one chapter ahead of me right now.
yeah, charisma is not. There is a programming chapter in the book which talks about it, but what we're doing here is we're tracking our intro class, our introduction class. So, we did all the, let's call it all the foundation stuff we talked about last week: blame and responsibility, balancing internal and external reality.
I have another friend that I was discussing a little bit of this about. This guy owns like a dozen Papa John's from here to Maine. And he's a very successful guy, a little older than me, but I've known him a long time. And it's funny, when I was telling him about like things of the past, he's like, "Oh, fuck that, Ralphie. The things that are in the past, I want to forget them."
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah. Yeah.
It makes me think, I know we all have something somehow, It's like, I know we hide it well, and I know people are better at certain things than others, but man, we all got some kind of baggage somewhere.
Yeah, and it's pretty. It's a much different way when you think that about memory. That it's not just like, hey, that shit happened in the past. Damn, I'm going to close myself off of that, lock and key. It's the map to navigate the now or plan into the future.
Yeah.
So when you say I want to forget about that shit in the past, it's like it's still your map for getting along with things.
Yeah. And in some way, I feel like a person who is not onto this kind of thinking, I bet you things of his past, somehow he's visited and like a person that just, maybe could do this without knowing. I bet you they think about the past, things that happened, and kind of set a new program so they can put it to bed, and not even know that they're doing that. They're, like they're facing it. At the same time too, I feel like, Ken, I've been to church, I go to church. I've seen firsthand with people that are hurting, and they pray to God and God heals them. Now, is it God? Is it ourselves? Like, that's the mystery question. But I do see people, they get over it. So if it's like, if you're telling yourself to get over whatever it is you're trying to get over, somehow it works,
Yeah. It's a matter of, I think it's largely a matter of motivation, right? When we're talking about going back and revisiting those experiences, ground zero, so to speak, where it started. Right? I mean, I'm always amazed at how different people are pointing at the same thing. I was listening to a podcast today, and this is essentially what they were saying. The guy was, a psychotherapist or something like that. He was like, "Look, if you want to deal with stuff that's going on there, you got to go back and find the memory. Go back and find the place where it started. Change it into something different."
And I think people that go to therapy, they've come across that, but like I never have. So this is like new, groundbreaking, so to speak. And not everybody goes to therapy.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I don't know from therapy either. I know, but this is a real, it's a real practical way to um, be deliberate about what you do. Because like it or not, those memories, those programs, whatever you want to call them, that's your map. That's working you every day. That's the way you respond to the world. So you want to respond differently? Well, you got to look at the tools or the programs you use to navigate. Today we're going to talk about charisma. So we laid out the 11 steps that the Goals Means program. Started with a goal, talked about that yesterday, talked about the means. Remember, the means just brings the goal present. But everybody's got charisma. And I don't mean that in a to put.
You mean I'm a popular guy, Ken? Is that what you mean? I've got charisma. People like me.
Yeah, yeah. Because let's just bring on. Let's see. Let's bring on Jesse for a moment. Jesse, you're on, right? Let me see if I have to turn his screen on here.
Yeah, I'm on.
You're on. So. One of the things that I've been talking to Jesse about, or I should say, Jesse, you and I have been talking about, is a charisma of like, poor me, or feeling sorry for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that's been, I mean, that's in everything that you do, right? And again, Jesse, I'm not. It's just a thing, right?
Yeah. It's just something that comes up.
Well, not just comes, I mean, it's there all the time. And it really affects everything you do, right?
Right.
And you've been pretty adamantly resistant to putting a new color or spin on that, even though you know where it started.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Which, of course, is going to always raise the question to somebody like me and, like Ralph or like other people, like, well, if you know why, if you can see it now, and if everybody's giving you feedback from the outside saying that the poor me thing is not working for you, and you can see it's not working, then it always like, why would that be a charisma that's still operational in your thinking?
For me, it was an argument.
Okay, but how come that argument's not resolved? I mean, you're in the midst of a.
Did you just say was an argument?
Hey, Paul.
Hey.
What's up? Yeah, Paul. I think Paul is quibbling with the past tense version of that.
Right. because we're all here talking about where this thing went to, and you said it's gone, and I don't know if I believe that, Mr. Jesse. Can you show us that it's gone?
Sure. Well, my argument had been that I was a poor, pitiful pumpkin and that the world was being done to me. And, you know, I used that poor me a lot when I wanted people to feel sorry for me and, you know, agree with me with whatever was going on, especially if I didn't want to do something I didn't want to do. And that argument ran for a long time. I was really fighting it because I thought I was right. It's like I thought the way I saw the world was right, and I had a reason to have the poor me there.
Okay. Well, what was
Go ahead.
the origin of what's the origin of the poor me for you? Where did that start?
It started when I was really, really little. When I was born, I had a bunch of different health issues, like my lungs didn't work right. I was allergic to a lot of formula and things that they were trying to give me. I had a leg condition. Like there was all sorts of health issues that I had. And my mom had been the one, my primary caretaker. She's the one that pretty much protected me and took care of me while I was going through that for about the first 3 years of my life. And so anytime I was sick or anytime I wasn't feeling good, she would hold me and say, there, it'll be okay. And, you know, so as I got older and as a young child, I would, you know, when I didn't want to do something or when anything like that, I would use the same thing. Oh, I'm sick. I poor me. I'm not feeling well. And then she would let me off the hook. And that became a way of me dealing with things that I didn't want to do.
Yeah, you're not finding much receptivity toward people wanting to coddle you, right? In any kind of group or business or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work at all.
So why?
Why
would you?
Stop a minute there, Jesse? Did you listen to your tone of voice when you just made that eloquent presentation?
Not really.
You should listen to it now. Here's the thing, dude. I'm not sure that you're ever going to be able to get past that thing. I think it's a feature of your thinking. And if it is, I mean, I'm not telling you that you're wrong about it. I'm just telling you that it's a feature. If you could acknowledge that it's a feature, you could maybe take advantage of it. But as long as it's running you, you're kind of up the creek without a paddle, dude. I'm not mad at you. I'm not naysaying you. I'm just telling you. Would you please take a look at how much this damn thing runs you? And so instead of it running you, is there a chance that perhaps you could turn that around where it doesn't run you, but rather that you take advantage of it?
Okay.
No.
Well,
You know, I don't give a damn whether it's okay or not, dude. I'm just asking if it's possible. You know, and okay doesn't tell me one way or the other. So
no.
No. Shh. I heard your response. It's okay. You're a grown man, and your response has to be what it is, and you have to deal with your response, however it is. You don't get 57 chances to pick a response that you like. You make your response, and that's what it is, dude. Now, Ken's asking you something. I've tried to give you a bridge out of it. You don't want the bridge. It's okay. I'm not trying to force you nowhere, but now it's up to Ken. I'll just leave you alone and you can go about your business.
Yeah, well, it's like that, Jesse. It's like there's a bridge over yonder that I see you walk down that the same way all the time, if you want to put it in those terms, with that same charisma.
Hold on. Can I interject here for a second?
Please do, Jimmy Waters.
Jesse, I don't think that you paid attention to what John actually asked you. He asked if it was a feature of your landscape. Now, if you, hold on a second. I gotta turn off Baby Shark a second.
Darn it.
Okay. He asked you if it was a feature of your landscape. Now, why would he ask you that particular question?
To see if it's a part of me or something that I can change. Like when I think a feature of my landscape, it's like something that's there, like a tree or a rock. If I think landscape wise.
Okay, well, you might want to check with John.
Wouldn't a feature of your landscape be like your blue eyes, your short hair versus a feeling?
Well, charisma's not a feeling that Jesse has. Charisma is part of his. It's a facet or an aspect of his belief. He needs to be. Somebody's got to make him feel good. You got to make me feel good. But we've been pointing out to Jesse for a long time that this is something that nobody can do for him, should do for him, and why would he even want to try that? It's he's been buttoned up against this in so many ways, where people like Jenny are giving him a hand, saying it just doesn't work, dude. It's not working for
Well,
you.
I don't know that to be true, because if it is a feature of his landscape, then he can use it to his advantage rather than being run over by it.
Yeah.
Can you explain like landscape?
I actually could if anybody was interested. And by God, Ralph, here you are asking the proper question again. I'll go to hell in a handbasket. You are an amazing individual.
Thanks, John.
It's all right. Hell, it comes to service. Don't worry about it. Okay, it doesn't cost any more. Okay, there are features of a landscape that you take advantage of. Like, for instance, if I'm building a garden, one of the things I want to do is I want to see what's there already. Are there hills and valleys? Are there and plateaus? What's there? And then what do I want to do with that? Do I want to make them taller? Do I want to make them shorter? Do I want to level them off? What do I want to do with them? And so the thing is that if I'm thinking about a landscape like a Japanese person would think about a landscape, then I'd say, okay, there are features in this landscape that I want to take advantage of. For instance, a stream. I don't want to get rid of the stream. I want to use the stream. I may want to change the way it flows. I may want to make it a pond in a place. I may want to stock it with fish. I want to put a weeping willow over it so I can reflect off the reflection in the water. I may want to do a lot of other things with it. I may want to put standing stones. I may want to do all kinds of stuff to bring out the beauty of that particular piece of landscape. But I can't really get rid of that stream. But I can, by goddamn, take advantage of it. I can make it so it doesn't rip up my landscape every time it rains even. I can do lots of things with that stream to make it part of the landscape. Now, the thing is for Jesse, he absolutely must have this whole place in his mind where mommy says he's okay. Without that, he ain't. And that's a fact. Huh, Jesse?
That's a fact. Okay.
Well, is it not or not? I'm not trying to convince you here. I'm asking you, guy. You're the expert on what things are for you. I don't know this. Okay, I have to ask you. It looks that way to me. But please don't take that as me telling you what it is. I can't. You have to see this for yourself, whatever it is. And it probably isn't exactly, I doubt sincerely that it is, it's like I'm describing it really for you. And it's again, the same thing that we talk about with words. What I'm looking at is cannot be the thing that it is for you. Just can't be.
Right.
So please take that into consideration when you're responding here. Okay.
Okay. No, it's something that I've had in my thinking that, you know, whenever I get stressed out or anything like that, that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah,
Like it's something that
required that mom tell you that, is it not? Or mom has given you a contingency for that particular event? Yes.
yeah, she's given me a contingent.
Like
I have to, I tell myself.
take clean underwear, right? That kind of contingency.
Okay.
Moms are like that. They say, here, when you're there, you need to take care of this. Be careful. You've got this weakness, etc. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a backup plan, right?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yes. Okay. And so that's something that's always there for you.
The backup plan.
Well, we can, if that's what you, yeah, if that's your name for it, yeah, okay, that's, sure, why not? The backup plan, right? Mom being the backup plan, right? Or the edification, or the personification of the backup plan. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I'm following.
Okay, is that correct, or am I off?
No, I definitely see that because, you know, when she's not around or something, I tell myself.
Okay.
Just that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So now here's the thing. What if you need to have that? What if that's something? What if you learn that at the same time that you learn language? And it's like you can learn a different language, but you're not really going to explain. You're not really going to explain things in a different language the same way that you'll explain things in English, for instance. I mean, I try to explain things in Spanish, and trust me, I will never get there. Not ever. It's not my native tongue. There's stuff about Spanish that I miss, by God, because I have gringo ears, and they've been there for quite a while, as you can tell by the size of them.
Okay, that's interesting. Like it's if that was built in right when I was starting to talk, then that's kind of what you're pointing at with the feature of a landscape, that it's already built into the structure. So, and you talked about how, you know, your native tongue is English, and to try to talk the same way in Spanish, it just ain't going to happen that way. It's not going to come out the same. So I think what you're pointing at is that, you know, if it's a feature of my landscape, if it's built in, then yeah, how can I use that to my advantage instead of trying to remove the feature?
It sounds to me that that's the point that Jenny first made and John was making. I think John might have dropped off.
Yeah, he did. Computer went off. I think Sandy would like to be unmuted, though, if you can.
I can do that. For sure. Hey, Sandy. Can you hear me, Sandy? Let's do this again. I don't know if I have the control to do that. Maybe Vanessa does. But I did unmute Ralph, so why can't I unmute Sandy?
Sandy has to unmute herself.
Okay. Okay. Well, while Sandy's getting that done. So what, that's how I'm hearing this, Betsy, that this is like the landscape, making it work for you. Doesn't have to flow to the house.
It's windy here, so my electricity went out for a moment, and that's what happens when that occurs. So the internet goes out or my computer turns off. So anyway, Jesse, yes, what Ken's saying is correct. If you could wrap your mind around what he's talking about, that would be helpful for you, I suppose. But I don't know that you can do that, can you?
Yeah, I can wrap my mind around it. And just talking about how that, it's like, what would that look like then is the question. It's like, okay, if it's built in and it is, how can I use that to my advantage instead of
Dude, I have no idea, but you're going to have to be. One thing that Ralph pointed out the other day, which is still true, and it's something that you have to think about yourself here, is that idea of being tethered. You're just all over. Your word doesn't mean anything for that reason. There's nothing real about you, guy. That's a problem that you have, and it's like I'm not mad at you about it. I'm not telling you that you're an awful person because of it. I'm not trying to tell you that you got to strain and stress real hard to fix it. I don't know if you can fix it. I'm not trying to solve your problems here. I've said, look, I can see where that would be difficult because you don't have anybody or anything that holds you down. Your word doesn't mean anything. But I really do think that if you thought about yourself as being a human being as opposed to being a gay, or that you're afraid that you're gay, or that whatever that interlock with gay is for you, I think if you just forgot about all that and said, look, I'm a human being, and my thingy, it points in different directions than some other guys, and that's the way it is. But you apparently can't do that. You got to get all involved with that thing and run into the poor me thing with mom. I don't know how to solve that for you. So rather than solve it, my suggestion is that maybe you find a way that you can use it.
Okay. And try to find a way to use it instead of.
Yes, and so how would you write that in terms of a charisma? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I ask for a question that was too different? Excuse me. I take it back. I won't do that now.
How dare you?
Well, I'm a meanie, so okay.
Yeah. So what, Jesse?
Sorry, Jesse. I thought you needed a hand there, but yeah, apparently not. It's okay.
No,
Enjoy the patio, dude. So, no, it's okay. Enjoy the patio.
All right. Well, I guess that's that, Jesse. An opportunity lost. You still on?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Well, what the fuck? That was.
Thinking about what a charisma would be, and
you know what a charisma is. You just gotta matter of finding one that works.
Did Mom give you a contingency for what to do in this case, Jesse?
Well,
I don't know what he's.
I think just to throw something out there. I mean,
that would not be the.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't.
It would be that would be the spaghetti on the wall approach things, which has never proven to me to do anything other than make a mess of things.
And you could tell when pasta's cooked.
well, there's that.
It works for pasta. Yeah, but maybe
Pasta world, it works.
All right. Well, Jesse, why don't you start with how you're thinking about it first?
Well, I'm thinking about it that, okay, if my charisma is a poor me, then, to do something different than that, my charisma would need to be I was thinking just caring. And it's just like, instead of being so self-absorbed, it's like, what happens if I just approach it that I care? And it's like, so what's going on with other people, and what's going on elsewise, and am I going to take what I'm approaching, am I going to care about what I'm doing too? And it's just like, that would be a different approach than being self-absorbed and concerned.
That's great, but see, what you're doing here is you're asking, your tone of voice is asking mom to help you out.
Yeah.
Or to protect you or something.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? That's true. Yep. That's hardly a way to, these things, these programs, you'll be in them as long as up to the point when you decide to put it down and do something else. And that very point will be evident as evident can be in how you go about doing things and, talking about things now. Because to be fucking done with something is, you can tell.
So you want a hand with this, Jesse?
Like, yeah.
Okay, let's see if you want a hand with this. Here it comes. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if your unshakable landscape charisma is that you have to go to mom to get approval. If that's your charisma, and what you're doing constantly with your charisma is saying, "Mommy, am I okay?" Why don't you find a mommy that will agree with you, or a mommy substitute that will agree with you that you're okay, so you don't have to whine for it all the time?
Oh, that's different. Okay.
Yeah.
Find a mommy substitute so I don't have to whine for it, huh?
Yeah, that's what he
Is
said.
it still there, Kim?
At that precise moment, I saw a light bulb go on. I just don't know if that's a light bulb he can keep on.
But his tone of voice changed, didn't it?
Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
I need a surrogate.
I'm done. I'm out of here.
Okay, thanks, John. All right. Well, Terry, let's go back to that slide which defines charisma, or at least tries to define. What's that one? You still there, Terry? I think you are. While you're doing that, I'm going to say hello. There it is. Okay, well, let's do this. Charisma. The attitude of approach that we use to achieve the goal. Yeah, that poor me, that's an attitude of approach that Jesse uses. And he's up against looking at whether that attitude of approach is one that would, let's say, land his plane. Specifically, how you approach people. It's observable by everyone, is it not? I mean, is it not? Can you not hear that charisma when Jesse was talking, and the difference when John offered that if he could satisfy that approval thing, then he would have, like an anchor for that. This slide, if you guys can see it, is representative of what charisma does. It's like a just kind of right thing, and looking at it in terms of a plane, if the plane comes in too steep, that plane ain't going to land, or if it comes in too shallow, it's not going to land either. So that attitude of approach has to be just right to land the plane, just right to achieve the goal. Here on the slide, it says that, okay. The phrase attitude of approach pertains to aircraft. It's the angle they use to approach the ground. If the angle's too steep, risk of crashing. If the angle's, if the same is true if the angle's too low. Well, what do charismas look like? Well, here goes. Let's take a look. I like this slide. This makes the point that oh yeah, everybody's got charisma. There it is. Do I have to define charisma? No, take a look. You could see it. You know it. It's observable. Does it affect your ability to get to your goal? Absolutely. You ride your charisma all the way to your goal, no matter what you encounter. That's this slide. Let's maybe get another example of this. I haven't. Hey, Chris Olson, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
What's been going on? I haven't spoken to you in a while, but I see you've been listening in on the patio chats.
Yeah, I have. And
when did I see you last? I don't remember. It was a while ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably when we did class together.
Yeah, one of the last program theory classes, probably.
Okay. So what are you taking from this charisma thing, Chris? And in particular, if you can tie it into your own experiences, that would be great.
Well, charisma is definitely something I've struggled with, and I know
How so?
Well, I was working on a rewrite with Jenny and John on Slack, and we got to charisma, and they're pointing out my charisma, and I was a really shitty charisma, and I smeared it over everything. And
say more about that. What does that mean? Shitty charisma smeared over everything.
Well, you can kind of hear it, can't you, Ken?
It's kind of getting smeared over everything, like bagels. I just want to know where.
All right, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
So I don't know. I got upset by that, and I.
But what, Chris? Hold on, slow down, Chris. So what are we talking about here? Because as you saw with the conversation with Jesse, or let me put it in John Lilly terms, a program becomes the rule of one's life until what?
Until it's changed.
And recognized.
Recognized, yeah.
So I'm wondering still if you recognize the charisma other than just painting it as a shitty schmear color, or however you put it.
No, I recognize the charisma, and the charisma was very monotone and very, also very nervous. So yeah, it wasn't a pretty charisma, and I got to the point where I just.
What are you nervous about?
What?
What are you nervous about?
I don't know. It was something that would just kind of bubble up in me and make my voice shake.
Like the charisma puppet coming over there. I think, Chris, I've known you, Chris. I think you could, you've been hanging around. I think you probably can do better in terms of identifying the point of origin or what this is about. Not for my sake or anybody else's sake, for your sake, Chris.
Right.
Because you got a kind of a gray, fuzzy, undefined color painted on it. It would be helpful. It might be helpful to you to be able to define it more clearly. Because otherwise, like, what is it? What's the word that you said? You get what? Scared, nervous?
Yeah, and I think the point of origin is needing or looking for approval, and if and that goes back to my childhood with my parents.
Say it again.
And
Needing what?
seeking approval.
Okay.
And yeah, that goes back to my childhood, and seeking approval from my parents and from my grandparents as I was progressing through my 3s and 4s, and so yeah, that has kind of stuck with me for quite a while. And the charisma was another. I was doing a rewrite with Paul in Slack, just kind of on the side in one of his discussion groups, and we came up to charisma, and then I kind of dropped off. And so yeah, charisma is something I've been butting up against, obviously.
You're pretty evasive about that kind of stuff, aren't you, Chris?
Yes.
Well, thanks then. Great to have you on. Come on, Chris. You can do better than that.
Would you like to help with that, dude?
Yeah.
Say yes.
Sure.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How many girlfriends have you had in the last 3-4 years?
2.
How'd those relationships end? They probably just head over heels in love with you, and when they found out you didn't have any money, they left you because they were bitches, right?
Well, the last one, yeah, she left me. It wasn't because I didn't have money.
Several of them, though, have left you because you're an ass, right?
And it would be
Was that yes, Chris? Hold on a second here. Please just don't agree with him just for the sake of it. I mean, legitimately, that's a question for me now. John, it was a question. Several of them left you because you were an ass. Yes, no, I don't. I agree. I don't agree. I don't agree. I mean, give everybody a hand here. Don't be so stingy about this.
okay. Well,
look, it's okay. If that's the case, you have no idea where you're an ass, do you?
I suspect that it's because I try to enforce my thoughts, my reality on them.
Okay, and so if that's the case, if that's what you're doing, why are you doing that? Why would you want to do that on anybody? Why wouldn't you want to explore theirs? I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me. But it's okay. I'm trying to figure out how you're doing this, right?
No, I do see that now, and I see the error of my way.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was it? I'm not sure what it was that you saw now.
I saw how I tried to impose
Oh, okay.
and control the situation.
Okay, and so how does that work? I mean, how do you make somebody else see what you see or what you perceive?
I try to make them agree with me.
Okay, well, back up a step. They can't agree with you unless they can see the same reality that you're seeing, right?
Right.
Chris, are you aware that when you agree with somebody, it's because you agree that that thing that they're looking at is real? Or it can be real?
Could you say that again?
When you agree with somebody, you're either agreeing with them that that thing that both of you are looking at is real or is becoming real. There's a chance that you're going to be able to make it real. That's the reason for an agreement. That's what agreements are about, is making things real. It isn't about whether or not you're in charge. You're aware
Yeah.
of that, right?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. When did you become aware of that? Because you've never been aware of that before. What happened?
I lost somebody who was very important to me, and had to really do some. Had to recognize that.
Okay. Well, here's the thing: is that you can't make somebody see what you want them to see. You can't make them perceive your reality.
I know
What
that
you
now.
can do is you can say, okay, look, I'm looking at this thing that's real. I have no idea whether it's real or not. It's only something in my mind. I mean, that's real. That's an actual, real, true fact. Did you know that? Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you say this, when you're saying out loud to somebody that you want them, that you're going to control them and you're going to make them live in your reality, how does that work? Do you capture them off the street and take them to your tin shack out behind the house and put them in virtual slavery to you? What? It sounds kind of sick, dude. Is that really what you're trying to say to these chicks that you're dating?
It doesn't work.
I'm sorry?
It doesn't work.
It is not a matter of working, guy. It's a matter that it's ultimately goofy. Okay, I mean, it just doesn't even make sense. It's not a matter it doesn't work. It doesn't make even sense. It can't even happen. It's such a fantasy idea, Chris, that people ought to kind of make the sign of the cross and run from you when you say things like that. It's
Yeah.
kind of you.
It even has a worse level, I think, which is I get
Oh,
arrogant.
don't tell me. Stop it.
Do tell.
Chris, do something else.
Yeah.
Take that same place and do something else. This has been my argument with you for as long as I've known you. You absolutely refuse to have any substance. You just refuse, dude. And it's like, I know that you understand shit. I know that you can have it when you want to and when you want to express it. I mean, you've worked throughout over the globe. You've done all kinds of stuff. But I'll be goddamned if you'll admit to any substance for love or money. You will not do it. You're going to say, "Oh no, I'm Chris, the Playboy," and then you're surprised when the chicks say, "Hey, Playboy, stick it up your ass." They're kind of blunt about it. I understand, dude, but it's not so much that you have a shitty charisma that gets all over everything. It's that you're trying to make people do stuff that not paying attention to reality. That's the charisma that's fucked up. You're trying to make a reality that can't exist, guy.
Yeah, it's asinine. I agree.
Well, good. I'm glad that we've gotten to a place that we can have this little chat and that you've agreed. Yay, good for you. I wish the fuck you'd do something different. You think you can agree to that? I could agree to something different if it was real. I can't agree with this continuing fantasy, nor have I ever, nor will I ever, because I happen to like you underneath all that crap. You're a nice guy. I don't know what the hell you're good for, but you're a good guy somewhere in there. You got to be. Of course, I believe that in that pile of horse shit, there's got to be a pony. So.
Yeah, Chris, that substance thing is what comes through.
Yeah, and that's what I'm searching for right now.
But what's like where's the search though at for that? It seems like more of the search is not about finding substance as much as it is about searching for why you discount yourself, because it comes across always as, oh yeah, it's just me. Yeah, I know. That's what I deal with. Yeah, I deal with that shit all the time, and it's like, why? Like,
well, no, Ken, on some level, the eternal search is a completely unsubstantive objective for him, right? He can always just be searching.
Yeah.
It's perfectly in line with not having a substance.
Yeah.
And Chris, would you say that you've searched a lot of modalities over the years?
Yes, yeah, quite a few. And
All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So searching's all part of this, wrapped up together for you.
I know that that's true. Ken can say things like Kung Fu Kimasabi, Namaste. And it's great stuff. I mean, he's got all the words.
Yeah.
You know, Chris, not too long ago, you sent me an email saying that there's something about you feel as though you're finally getting to a place where you don't see yourself as secluding yourself or something like that. I forget the word exactly that you use, but you don't include yourself either, though. You tend to push yourself out a lot.
Yeah, and I've been doing that, and I guess I'm trying. I mean, rejoining the community wasn't the right word, but coming back and trying to be involved, active, participate. I know that's important, and I know I haven't been doing that.
It's the point where you step away, though. You have to figure out what that is about.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree with that. The point where you step away. Like I'd say it just a little differently. Like you seem to doubt yourself. Like you've decided you have no charisma. Must go find charisma. Try modalities to be a person of substance. And I'm like, well, maybe you already are, you know. But maybe you color everything with this, doubting monotone. Oh, I don't know. I don't think, maybe not.
That's a pretty wild concept.
Well, I mean, like those pictures of charisma, Chris, people, it's, it's something that, part of the program that you wrote, you could at, any time pick a different one. I mean, take a charisma of, a person who, is always giving someone a hand, and trying to find out what they want, not imposing their version on them, but actually trying to find out what that other person wants and then find a way to make that happen, make that real. Do you know what they, that has a flavor of substance to it, don't you think?
Yeah.
But I suppose that is just too far out of reach for you.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's similar to Jesse's charisma, the poor pitiful me kind of thing, where that's overshadowing what may already be inherent.
Well, like one of the numero uno conversation with Jesse and George over the last month that they've been down in Mexico is that they're people. They don't identify first and foremost as a person. They identify as being first gay men, which they are, fine, but they're people.
Yeah,
they're human beings. No, I'm not. I've got this cross to bear. This is what this is what I am. Nobody's gonna like me for this. No, you're a person. Same with you, Chris.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I should say you're right, but I see your point.
Well, what's it going to take for you to embrace something different? Because it's not something you're going to find on the outside.
Chris,
Well,
let's get down to it, okay? Are you mad at mom and dad about anything still? Either one. Are you upset with, uncomfortable about? Are there memories that you're not comfortable with that you are unresolved for you with either one of them?
no.
Okay,
Not that.
you're sure of that.
No, not that I'm conscious of, and our
Okay.
relationship has changed.
Super. Okay, great. Then you really don't have any reason not to be standing up on your two hind legs and being whoever you are then, right?
Correct.
Great. So, something that is true for gay people in particular is that they have to come out. And it's like for them that's usually a very traumatic thing because they think that they are that thing. Many gay people really are caught with saying, okay, they interlock with the fear of being gay, and they try to be straight. And all kinds of stuff. They go through all kinds of things, and it's like they really suffer for it. I don't misunderstand, they do. But so do you, Guy. Because you're afraid to come out and be who you are. You're still being whatever mom and dad are wanting you to be, I'm pretty sure. You're still being the same business guy, the same goofy thing that you were doing back in the day. You're still the same goofy MBA guy that you were ever. You're still frustrated as hell with your job. You're still frustrated as hell with who you are, and you're still looking for something other than what you got. All of those things are true, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's always been true as long as I've talked with you. I'm not mad at you about it. I'm not telling you you're a bad guy. Please, for the love of Christ, would you get over that one? I don't give a shit. The thing is this, is that, Chris, try looking at the substance that you have, not the substance that you don't have. I mean, you're a substantive guy if you get the fuck off of your poor knees and I'm such an awful, terrible person and self-flagellating. This is not what the hell's the name of that movie? The Da Vinci Code. You don't have to wear that clamp on your leg or dye your hair white or wear a brown robe or anything like that. Really, you don't have to do any of that stuff. You can just be you. It's legal. I looked it up.
Yeah, and my parents want that too. It's not,
Then, for the love of Christ, would you get off of this thing that you're trying to be and be what you are? Because that's the one that has the substance. This other shit doesn't have any substance, Chris. You know that already. It's empty. You're not happy with it. Quit it. Stop. Do something else. Do whatever it is that you like. Now's the perfect time. You're not doing anything anyway. You were sitting there working at home. What is it you want to be doing? Start working on it. Quit acting the fool, please. Please.
Yes, you're right. And right now is the perfect opportunity for that.
Damn. When you're right, you're right. When you're hot, you're hot. And when you're not, you're not. Okay, dude. So I think that I think that's just the whole thing. If you need permission, God bless you. There you go. What the hell?
You with Ralph?
Yeah, I'm laughing how. First, it's funny. I thought John was gonna be firmer quicker, but yeah, he got firm at the end, and I don't know. He gets to the point, and I think he's right with childhood memories. And I mean, I know that only we can unlock these memories and reprogram what they mean for us. Mm-hmm. And as I'm dissecting my memories, I know they're connected to these feelings. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm feeling freeing. In a sense of, it's not one. I'm just, what I'm saying? There's many that I think could mean a lot of things,
Freeing, is that what you said?
I would say so. Because I'll tell you, last night, whatever happened last night, getting that emotion with the thing that happened with my mom, I feel somehow when I was a kid, that same feeling is what I kind of feel sometimes when I go to these other situations. So now that it's in my head that it's not, first I'm like, I don't know, it makes more sense. You know what I'm saying? And now that I'm thinking about other things from the past, I realized that, you know what, that's what's triggering my other feelings, feeling like this. And I don't know, it's freeing. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Free
agree.
yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey Ralph,
Totally.
do you know why that's freeing?
Tell me.
Well, it takes a lot of energy to hold up your internal reality that doesn't match up with the external reality. Now, by realizing that you had an unnecessary emotion attached to that event, you're not propping that memory up in the same way. So it doesn't cost you that energy. And you're free to use that energy now however you see fit.
You're right. And now I just, again, knowing that, as you go through your day, I don't know. It's just like you start redissecting how things go through your day. It's definitely a more positive outlook. I'm grabbing that. You know what I mean? Like, you got a lot of things to be positive for. You know what I mean? You can't weigh yourself down on anything else other than that.
Yeah. The way that John puts it in the Office of Shaman, what Paul just said is that the tool of programming, what you're experimenting with now, frees up the energy. That's what Paul said, right? Governed by the B1 function. Instead of being all split up in things, you're dealing with real stuff, getting rid of the fantasies, what Paul said, pointed out, of the thoughts that don't align with what's really going on. And there's more energy there to be used.
But somehow now I'd like to kind of go into a tank and try to really think about these memories that, I've never thought about really. And now doing this, you think about, and like these other guys, these other guys' situations. If they go in the tank now, can we'll remember more detail, I'm guessing, of our memories.
Yeah. That's been my experience.
That's pretty cool, Ken.
I think so too. Cool. Any other questions or slides, Terry, that you think we ought to take a look at before we wrap up?
No, I think we got through them all.
Okay, good. Well, then I think it's 8:00. So how about we come back tomorrow? What are we doing tomorrow, Terry?
Patio chat.
We are. Meta programs.
Okay, well, that'd be cool. Programs that control whole sets of programs. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Well, thanks, everybody, for coming on and lending a hand, and Elise and Jenny and John and Terry and Vanessa and Paul and all the attendees, Ralph and Chris and Jesse, and I see a whole bunch of other people there. And just raise your hand if you've got any questions, and we'll handle them. So thanks all. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.